Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. It's Friday, March 22nd. You're watching News 2. I'm April Knight. Topping our stories tonight, residents of the JFK housing communities on St. Croix are facing the uncertainties of having to relocate from their homes. In September of 2018, the Department of Housing and Urban Development announced $243 million in a grant agreement to help Virgin Islanders recover from the 2017 hurricanes. $32 million of that grant is allocated for the redevelopment of public housing. But modernize these communities, tenants have to relocate, and many of them are not happy with their options. News 2's Stephanie Brown has more.
But how do we be able to rebuild this facility and at the same time take care of all of the individuals who live in here? That is the challenge that we have.
Residents of the John F. Kennedy Terrace housing community are being relocated as modernization of housing communities under the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Action Plan becomes into effect. Many residents receive letters of the relocation process, but expressed that they were unaware of the reconstruction plans for their community.
I was not necessarily pleased that the residents had a full understanding as to what was going to take place, or as to whether or not the Housing Authority had heard the concerns or were trying to take the concerns to make sure that the residents are situated in a manner similar to what is here at Kennedy.
Both Senator Kurt VLA and Senator Novell Francis, along with personnel from the Virgin Islands Housing Authority, informed residents that 205 units in housing communities are available. That includes housing choice vouchers and spaces at the newly constructed Louis E. Brown Phase 3. But many residents expressed that they did not want to move.
Regardless, we have our ends are all up and down. We know people in here will look out for us. My father found in an apartment. My neighbor and the neighbor upstairs is who have me. And this one here got check on my father for me. These people around here know me and he. We got to see judge. They already will know anything happened. Okay, we know what happened in Tehran. Exactly. They know how to deal with me. What will happen?
So what is sending us? If I understand, if nobody understanding it, you see what happened east versus west. If you go down west, east people going down there, what will happen?
The Housing Authority informed that further meetings at JFK Terrace will take place to ensure that the needs of residents are heard, and 3 moving options have been provided to tenants.
Whatever special circumstances you have, let us know. So you're going to the office and you let them know. If you have an issue, you call us so that we could be able to try to assist as much as we can in what is happening. But we got to be respectful in the process, okay?
For News 2, I'm Stephanie Shalana Brown.
We'll keep you updated. Over on St. John, a year and a half after the 2017 hurricanes, the Myra Keating Smith unit, which has been sharing space at the DeCastro Clinic, has moved into the new modular units. Schneider Hospital CEO Bernard Wheatley made the announcement on Thursday. The new modulars are located at the old Myra Keating location in Estate Susannaburg, so anyone needing emergency services or any other medical attention, don't go to the DeCastro Clinic. Head straight to the old Myra Keating Smith locations and you'll see the modulars on the parking lot. We'll have more on this in a later newscast. In the meantime, if you need any other information on hospital services on St. John, you can call 244-5217. Well, Friday was the last day of early voting for the reapportionment initiative that's currently on the ballot. In order for the reapportionment question to survive, 50% plus 1 of the total number of registered voters have to go out to the polls. As of February 28th, that number was at 51,747. So we need about 25,872 to go out and vote. The early voting results are nowhere close, as you can see there. According according to the election system. As of Thursday, March 21st, 615 people voted on St. Thomas, 77 on St. John, and 794 on St. Croix. That's a total of 1,486 so far without the Friday numbers. Senator Janelle Serreau is a vocal critic of the initiative, but she still urges people to go out and vote. Here are some of the reasons why she opposes it.
I think it's a flawed initiative. I understand the intent of the initiative, but it boils down to one, the fact that the census data from 2010 was not included in the reapportionment. There are a myriad of reasons why I think it's flawed, but I believe that if it passes, it faces a lot of legal challenges, and the reapportionment initiative is subject to the same constitutional scrutiny as any legislative action that we take in the chambers. There's a one-man, one-vote doctrine, first of all, and then you have the Equal Protection Clause. And Reynolds v. Sims indicate that the Equal Protection Clause, under that, any apportionment must be done on a population basis. So the mere fact that we drafted a reapportionment, split the island in half, decide 2 district senators, 6 here, 1 for St. John, 6 as large. It was just like an arbitrary thought process, and I don't think it keeps the territory in the best interest.
Turning our attention to crime on Wednesday, a murder in the workplace in broad daylight. At around 8:30 in the morning in the Viking Corporation facilities on St. Thomas, Bariki George, 23 years old, was shot by another Viking employee in the company's break room. VIPD's Glenn Drake has the details.
An employee of the Viking Corporation located at Estate Thomas reported that one of his male employees was shot in the break room of the establishment. The victim was identified as Baraki George, age 23, sustained several gunshot wounds about his body. Emergency medical technicians were present on the scene and stated that Mr. George had no vital signs. Information given during the investigation of this incident resulted in the arrest of Russell Molinar, age 36, who was also an employee at the Viking Corporation. He was then apprehended, placed under arrest at his residence. Molinar was charged with murder in the first degree. Bail was set at $1 million. Molinar was remanded to the Bureau of Corrections Detention Center, pending advice of rights hearing. The victim's family members were notified of the incident and identified the deceased.
On St. Croix, meanwhile, a man was shot and killed in a grocery store in Christiansted. On Wednesday, March 20th, a 911 got calls of shots fired, and then moments later, reports of a man down. This went down in Harmony Groceries and Bar in West Lane, Christiansted. Officers found one man with multiple gunshot wounds to his body, and according to police, there was an argument inside the grocery store between the suspect and the victim. The suspect pulled out a gun and shot the victim numerous times, according to police. A concerned citizen tried to stop the assailant and was grazed by a bullet for his trouble. The victim was 59-year-old Kelvin Woodson, aka Gerbil. He died from his injuries and was identified by family members. This incident is actively under investigation by the Criminal Investigations Bureau. Anyone with information on this incident, call the numbers on your screen. Crime Stoppers USVI at 1-800-222-TIPS or 911. The worst is over on the water outage situation on St. Croix, according to WAPA. Potable water service to the west end of St. Croix have been normalized, according to the authority, and water levels at the Kings Hill storage tank, where they lost water capacity, is going up. Late afternoon on Thursday, the Kings Hill storage tank stood at 6 feet, which where WAPA needs it to be to keep up with the demand. WAPA officials did note heavier demand for water service on Thursday because of the sustained dry conditions over the last couple of weeks. WAPA is aware that some customers are experiencing muddy or discolored water. WAPA CEO Lawrence Kupfer said that they'll be flushing portions of the system to address that. If you're still not getting water at your home or business, you can call WAPA's distribution division at 773-2250. Coming up next, the Port Authority's new rules on cargo containers at the docks are on hold for now. Plus, a young man on St. Croix who saved a drowning man's life when we come back. back, members of the shipping community were taken aback by proposed changes to marine tariffs that would shorten the amount of time they have to move their cargo from the VI Port Authority docks. News 2's James Gardner was at a VIPA meeting to bring you this story.
At the Virgin Islands Port Authority meeting held on St. Thomas, Acting Assistant Executive Director Angelo Raimondi proposed 4 marine tariff amendments. 2 to help with congestion on St. Thomas and St. Croix, 1 for hazardous material storage, and another dealing with unidentified cargo. The first 2 amendments dealt with cutting down of free cargo storage time at VIPA docks. The first one cuts the time down from 5 to 2 days at the St. Croix facility, and the second one cuts cargo storage time down to 12 hours on St. Thomas. VIPA said these amendments are to cut down on congestion at the ports, but shippers and agents said this is not possible.
First of all, I want to ask, what's the rationale for amending it from 2 days to 5 days, the free time from 2 days to 5 days? This is just not realistic at all.
It's to
5 days to 2.
To have a more organized operation, which is easier for demurrage, as well as reducing the congestion on our port for goods that aren't being paid for. A better business model for instances with customs clearance, but also allows us to meet our mandates in our tariff as well as revenue and overheads. We're understanding that Crown Bay is very, very congested, so we're trying to work with everybody, but also appease Coast Guard. Coast Guard is the biggest issue that we have. We want to maintain our good working relationship with them and not get the port shut down.
Companies attending the meeting expressed concerns over the fees that could accumulate over time and the fact that these charges would just be passed on to the community.
That is not only us that's actually bringing in these cargo, it's also, I'm speaking for all the small business owners, I'm speaking for Water Spirit, Norma H, every single person that has cargo down on this dock. It's not that we want to keep the stuff there, it's not that we don't want to move the stuff there. This is other issues that are basically pertaining to it. So I personally need to know what is it that you guys are what are you guys gonna do if I get fined for going based on this?
We have no ambition to restrict cargo or restrict the economy. That we're trying to follow the guidelines that we are responsible to follow.
But then we're gonna pass along the fees that we're receiving for these containers being at port. So that drives the cost up of their merchandise regardless.
One of the biggest problems, according to the shippers, in terms of complying with the amendments is clearing customs, which could take up to a month. The changes were set to begin at the end of the meeting, but Port Authority decided to table it for now and have further discussion with shippers and custom officials. For News 2, this is James Gardner.
The 2 items that were implemented at that Port Authority hearing was the addition of a CFR 126, or hazardous material storage facility, and a requirement of an agent or person in charge to identify all cargo stored on VIPA property. Well, local organizations usually fill gaps in the needs of the community, but in one instance over the weekend, one organization, the Caribbean Centers for Boys and Girls, may have helped save a life. One of their students, a young man on St. Croix, went out to the docks to have fun with his friends for his birthday, but thanks to the skills in rescue and resuscitation that he learned from CCBG, he saved one of his friends from drowning. Here's more.
As soon as I came out of the water, I realized that my friend Elijah was still in the water, but he was splashing. But at first I thought he was playing because he's a jokester, so I was joking about something. But then something clicked in me saying that maybe he made me help joking or not. So I jumped in and then saw that he really was drowning. So I put him on my back and swam him to shore, and I put him on the cement and see if he needed mouth-to-mouth, see if he was breathing good. I've been attending the Caribbean Center for Boys and Girls Club for 5 years now. I've had a few training sessions with Les Burke, scuba diving and CPR and lifeguarding. So that's the only reason why it actually clicked.
I think that Saeed, because of the clubs and our programming and our recent collaborations, it was a big plus in preparing him to do what he had to do when that need came.
Having these programs are very helpful and convenient because this same situation could happen to anyone, and it's good to prepare yourself for these occasions or situations.
Great job, Saeed. Now, Afternoon on the Green at UVI, that's coming up this weekend. You can head over to the UVI grounds on St. Thomas on Sunday to take part in this well-loved community event. This year, the UVI community is coming back in full force with the theme, Welcome Back to the Green, Rebuilding Our Dream for 2019. There's going to be various categories of contests for food, so food lovers out there, don't miss it. There's a car show and a grill section and something for the little ones. Here's more from the co-chairs of the event on what you can expect.
So we're going to have Happy Times Entertainment, and also in that category in the children's area, we're going to be having traditional games. So the marble, the egg and spoon race, the sack race.
Face painting.
Do you remember those?
Yes.
It's going to be so exciting. So it's so much is going to be happening at Afternoon Green simultaneously. But of course, it is to support scholarships for students. It's a big fundraiser for the university to support student scholarship, because we want to ensure that persons here in our community and abroad can go to the University of Virgin Islands, where we specialize in futures. And we want everyone to come that's listening to the sound of our voices here today to come and support the University of Virgin Islands Afternoon on the Green celebration. It's going to be fun, family entertainment, and it's going to have a lot of things happening. So you don't want to miss it. You don't want to hear about it. You want to be there.
Also, we have another section. It's the grill section. And that's by, I think, the Omegas.
The Omegas will be handling that.
That's right. And also, you know, they would have hot dogs, hamburgers, barbecue, ribs, and anything that you can grill.
They had me at ribs, so don't miss that. That's this Sunday at the golf course at UVI. Now stick around, your Pet of the Week and your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next. Welcome back. It's time for our Pet of the Week. Now, this little guy has a bit of a sad story. He was dumped off of a truck on St. Thomas, but a good Samaritan brought him to Humane Society. Now, they're trying to find him a forever home, and when you see this dog, you'll agree he won't have a hard time finding one. Here's Donna Nemeth from Humane Society to tell us all about Martin.
This is Martin. Martin just came into us yesterday, and he had an unfortunate arrival in that he was thrown out of a truck in Bavoni, and a really wonderful man driving behind him saw the dog get thrown out, stopped and picked him up and brought him to us. He's about a year old. He's heartworm negative, super friendly, playful young dog. Jumped right on a chair in the office lobby. He's ready to move into somebody's home, and we'd love to get him out of here. He's healthy, he's super friendly, probably a shepherd retriever mix. It's going to be a real active dog, probably not get a lot bigger, but he'll fill out, and he's going to want to be with a family that gives him something to do and keeps him busy all the time.
If you're interested in Martin or any of the pets that we feature on Pet of the Week, you can call the Humane Society of St. Thomas at 775-0599, or you can visit www.hsstt.com. Humane Society also gives away spay or neuter vouchers that you can take your dog or cat to a vet of your choice. Please also consider supporting the St. Croix Animal Welfare Center and the St. John Animal Care Center. You can find their pages on Facebook. Now let's take a look at what the weather looks like in the next 2 days with our News 2 AccuWeather forecast.
Well, as we take a look here across the area, we've got some clearing skies here. There had been a little patch of moisture that moved through right now across Puerto Rico. You can see the clouds associated with that, but we've got clearing skies, and for tonight, a mainly clear sky on tap. Our overnight low is 75 degrees. As we look at St. John's for tomorrow, enjoy your Saturday, 84 degrees, sunshine and pleasant. And for tomorrow in St. Thomas, we also have lots of sunshine, a good beach day, 84 degrees. As we head into St. Croix, 86, so a little bit warmer there. and a mostly sunny day. Now, looking at the marine forecast on the Atlantic side, we do have waves of 3 to 5 feet and an easterly wind of 10 to 15 knots. On the Caribbean side, the waves are a little less. We're at 2 to 4 feet, and we have an easterly wind of 10 to 15 knots. Looking through the forecast period, trade winds are going to increase here on Sunday. So as they start to pick up, there's also a little batch of moisture, so maybe a couple of more showers around on Sunday. So a shower or two, 84 degrees. On Monday, we do have a shower in places, clouds, sunshine, and a high of 85. On Tuesday, a stray shower as well. Spotty showers are going to be around for Tuesday night into Wednesday. Our high temperatures continue to be in the mid-80s and our overnight lows in the mid-70s. Back to you.
Thank you for that. Stick around. News 2 Sports is coming up with Gary Anthony plus Alex Randall's news and comments. We'll be right back.
I'm Gary Anthony, and this is News 2 Sports. College basketball fever is everywhere. Three-pointers, rebounds, steals, dunks. Madness is the right word, and the VI is getting a taste as well. UVI Buccaneers point guard Harold Caldwell has been selected to the E squad for the NAIA All-Star Game to be played Tuesday, March 26 in Kansas City, Missouri, where it's cold. Harold took time out of his busy schedule to speak with News 2 via the phone.
The most I'm looking forward to is the talent-wise, to be able to show off my talent and to compete night in and night out with each and every one. One of my main concerns is to use this as a stepping stone of getting to the next level. What's next for me is not only getting a chance to try out or go play in the NBA, but also getting a chance to go and try out for overseas teams and also getting my degree. Yes, I wanted to give a shout out to my whole team. One of the players I want to give a shout out to is Zion Jones. He native from the Virgin Islands. Now also here I want to give a shout out to my coach, Jackson Delore, and my head coach, Jeff Jones. They did a lot for me these past couple months and stuff for my senior year, and they helped me not also develop a good leadership, but they also helped me focus and get to where I need to be for the next level. But I also want to give a shout out to the Virgin Islands, everybody on the island who supported me and my teammates over this past year, because we were all fresh and new, and we just needed some support for our games, and I want to give a shout out to everyone over there. I want to also say this, UVI is on the upcoming. Over this past year, we made a lot of noise, and we also had the most games won in UVI history. So I wanted to, let everyone know to come support UVI. They on the upcoming with sports, especially men's basketball. UVI is a great place.
Sticking with hoops, the big upset in the first round of the NCAA tournament, at least yesterday, number 12 Murray State over number 5 Marquette 83-64, thanks to super sophomore Ja Morant's triple-double, the first in the NCAA tournament since 2012. You go, Youngblood. Moving to Little League Baseball, the Elmo Plaskett Little League begins its 50th season this weekend. The fun begins Saturday at the D.C. Canangaita Ballpark with the parade lineup at 10:30 from the Christiansted Fort. And on Sunday, the parade lineup begins at 12:30 at the Freedom City Service Station in Frederiksted on the way to the Wim Ballpark. That's it for sports. Have a fabulous weekend. April, back to you.
Thank you for that, Gary. Now, before I hand you over to Alex Randall for his news and comments, he's just getting ready. Let me give you something from St. John. We want to support our friends who are supporting the community. Love City Strong is giving away free flats of bottled water tomorrow. That's Saturday, March 23rd. And that's happening from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 3 locations. They are Coral Bay Fire Station, Seventh-day Adventist in Cruz Bay, and the parking lot at Moses Laundry laundromat in Estates Zanenburg. Again, that's tomorrow, March 23rd, 10 to 2 at these 3 locations, and that's courtesy of Love City Strong. Now let's see what Alex Randall has for us for news and comments. Alex?
You're watching News 2. This is Alex Randall with news and comment. They used to make milk. Now they're making booze. Island Dairies went out of business in 2011. The new owners are distilling vodka from breadfruit. Breadfruit. Turns out you can make vodka from all kinds of plants, and we know how to grow breadfruit. Did you know that breadfruit is regarded as a superfood? It's nutritious, high in carbohydrates and fiber, antioxidants and vitamins, and it's fruitful. One tree makes some 200 fruit per season. You know that old ship called the Bounty, the one that was in the mutiny on the Bounty? That ship was carrying breadfruit from Tahiti, headed toward our islands. So the guys are calling their vodka Mutiny Island Vodka, and it's made at Scion Farms Distillery. Making vodka could be a big win, good for our agriculture and good for our exports. The governor living in Government House? That hasn't happened in 30 years. Governor Schneider lived at Catherineburg. Governor Turnbull lived in Catherineburg. Governor John DeYoung lived at home. And Governor Mapp lived in fancy hotels and at his home in St. Croix. But now here comes Governor Bryan taking his home in Government House on St. Croix. But more important, he is having Government House on St. Thomas renovated. He wants the upper floors of Government House restored to their original use as the home for the governor. And Governor Bryan says he plans to live in St. Thomas in Government House. Wow, it's been donkey years since a governor lived in Government House. This may be a start of something big. Great news on the tourism front. While the big hotels may be closed, people's homes and apartments are wide open. Open, that is, to Airbnb. In case you didn't know it, Airbnb is a service that matches travelers with people who have apartments, spare rooms, rentable space. It's part of the gig economy where everyone's their own business person, and Airbnb is hot. Millions of people are using the service to stay in low-budget accommodations when they travel. At the Virgin Islands, specifically St. Thomas, is an Airbnb hotspot. St. Thomas was named the top trending destination for the spring season, with bookings up this year a whopping 338%, and that's on top of last year's increase of 600%. Wow, that is a lot of people coming here who are not staying in big hotels. Commissioner of Tourism Joe Busholta thinks this is a fundamental shift in the way people travel, staying with families in their homes rather than hotels. Oh, and remember, Airbnb rental properties are subject to the hotel tax. Airbnb charges the tax when the booking occurs. And so far, they've paid our government $1.8 million in the last year. And that's not peanuts. Here comes a taste of St. Croix. Everyone looks forward to great food, and here it is, the 18th year. It was postponed last year and held in November, but it's back now in its regular time. A Taste of St. Croix starts April 11 downtown Christiansted, and then it meanders around the island to a variety of different sites and settings. Restaurateurs, fishermen, farmers participate. So do winemakers, rum distillers, brewers, 50 local celebrity chefs, foodies, journalists, and social media influencers. It's a food extravaganza. If you like to eat, the place to be is St. Croix in April. Thanks for watching. This is Alex Randall with News and Comment. Now back to April.
Thank you for that, and that's it for our show tonight. Don't forget, we're live on Facebook and YouTube and on via Channel 4 and 504, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. Make sure you follow us on Facebook at News2VI or Instagram at TV2USVI. Tag us on any stories you want to see on the news or send us a message on Messenger. You can also email us at newsdirector@tv2.vi. Thanks again for joining us on News 2. I'm April Knight. We'll see you next time. Have a wonderful weekend.